With the House coming in at a very slim majority for Republicans, every vote will be crucial. And a lot of people in the media and elsewhere are focusing on how the far right of the Republican Party will use that potential leverage to try to gain power. But the far right isn't the only faction in the Republican caucus that stands to benefit from a small GOP majority. The moderates do too. And on this show, we're more interested in how they plan to make an impact come January. While far-right Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan make demands meant more to fire up their bases rather than actually accomplish goals, the next Congress represents a golden opportunity for what we call the marginalized moderate majority to have its own interests represented in Congress by pragmatic potential power brokers near the center. And it's an opportunity that's long overdue. Decision Desk HQ currently shows Republicans with a 220-211 advantage in the House, 4 races still outstanding. Even with Republicans holding the lead in 2 of those races, it seems as though roughly 5 swing voters or less could be able to change the balance of power on any issue. So while much of the media focuses on the power of that extreme wing of the party, I want to know, what does it mean for the moderates? It means Republican leadership is going to have to listen to them for a change, and they'll have to be on board in order for any agenda item to pass. And several moderate Republicans appear poised to seize the opportunity. Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon sits on the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus. He's the co-leader of the Main Street Caucus, which is largely made up of center-right Republicans. In an interview on Capitol Hill last week, Bacon told Politico, "It's time we flex our muscles." The question now becomes, how do they do it? Here to tell us is Republican Congressman Don Bacon, just elected to a 4th term in Nebraska's 2nd District. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on the program. Really appreciate it. So what do you mean when you say it's time for us to flex our muscles?
Well, I'm the co-chair of the Main Street Caucus. We have right now 89 members a part of that. So it's between 2 and 3 times larger than the Freedom Caucus. And I think all too often we've catered to that voice of the party, and yet we're much bigger. And there's many other congressmen and congresswomen that are also, I would say, part of the centrist part of the conference that are even not part of Main Street. So we have a chance to have a large voice here, and we should take advantage of it. And my view, like on the leadership, as an example, you know, the vote came in 85% for Kevin McCarthy, 15% for Andy Biggs.
Yep.
The right thing to do is to coalesce around the person who wins. And if you don't, well, then you have to offer up an alternative. That has not happened. And so we're going to put pressure on these folks to be part of the conference and be a team. You know, I led 5 units in the Air Force, a flying squadron in combat in the invasion of Iraq. Teams win. When you fracture off, teams lose. Yeah. And so we need to come together. If our conference wants to succeed, we got to do it as a team.
Well, you mentioned the battleground for Speaker, as you mentioned, Andy Biggs, much further to the right, threw his hat in the ring, opposing Kevin McCarthy. You're a McCarthy supporter, and you've talked about potentially even working with Democrats. I mean, how serious a challenge do you think this is going to be? I mean, you still need a majority, and you have a number of members of the right portion of the GOP suggesting they're not going to support McCarthy.
Well, if after multiple votes they don't coalesce around and get 218 for Kevin or propose an alternative, right now their alternative got 15%, then we will do what it takes to get 218. We're not going to sit there and be gridlocked while our country flounders and the House flounders. So I would be willing to work with moderate Democrats to find an agreeable Republican to get that 218. But that's if these 5 or 6 members refuse to come together and refuse to become part of the team. It is unacceptable. It hurts the conference, it hurts the House, it hurts our country. We can't afford the gridlock.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.